Welcome back to Goldmark TV. Today I'm going to be taking a look at these very, very special aquatint etchings by Sean Scully, one of the most important abstract artists of the last 50 years. Hope you enjoy today. You would be hard-pressed today to find an abstract artist as important, as famous, and in demand as Sean Scully. Born in Ireland, his family came to the UK when he was a young child, and he's since taken on America as his home place. But today he is a globally, internationally well-known artist of great significance, with massive exhibitions touring around the world every year. We're very lucky to have these beautiful aquatint etchings that were printed in 2010. This is a $1 million artist, one of the most famous in the world currently, so to be able to have some of his work here in the gallery is really quite extraordinary. If you've ever heard Sean Scully, ever seen him on TV being interviewed, you'll hear that though he describes himself as an Irish-American artist, his wonderful idiosyncratic South London accent pins him to a childhood on the banks of the river in the Docklands, Deptford area. And it's really from this beginning, from this childhood in sort of dire straits really, abject poverty, that Sean Scully has emerged as an artist. He was quite a troubled young lad. He was drawn to art from a very young age, but he found himself as a young adolescent drawn into the gang culture of the South London Docklands area. And it's really a life of struggle and of hardship that he has brought with him into his art in the many decades hence. It's something that he has tried to come to terms with and tackle in his own art. And much of his abstract art is very personal. His gridded paintings have changed an awful lot over the years, from his early years when he was particularly inspired by op art, but they have retained some of the core tenets of that movement, of making a kind of abstract art that was at once very personal to him, very intimate and imbued with his memories, his experiences, but one that is also fundamentally accessible and universal, one that anybody, no matter what background they come from, no matter where they come from in the world, can come to and find some kind of joy, meaning, understanding, or mystery in them. This is a suite that was printed in 2010. It's called Liliane. Over the years, Sean Scully has, in what appear to be quite universal abstract images, brought his very personal memories to the fore. This is not the first time that he's made artwork that was named after a family member. At the age of 19, he had his first son, and his second wife, Catherine, gave her name to a series of paintings. Then, tragically, in 1983, at the same age as he had had his son died in a car crash. And it was a number of those pivotal moments in his family history that have sort of inspired or brought about major changes in his art. This suite's titled Liliane. That's the name of his third wife, Liliane Tomasco. She is an abstract artist, very well known and established in her own right. They married in 2006, and in 2009 they had their first child together, Oisin, his son. These prints were made directly after his son was born, and they really sort of capture a totally new and fresh chapter in his life. He's often talked about how his art is fundamentally about relationships. You have the very concrete relationships between the things in his art, these striped patterns that you can see in a number of these prints, these sort of gridded formations, these windows that are cut into images so that you have pictures within pictures. But then there are also the relationships from his own life which he brings to his art. People have often questioned, how can pictures like these, which are totally abstract, they don't seem to represent anything outside in the real world, how can they really communicate the complexity of the feelings of the love of your first child being born, the love of a new wife in your life. But the shapes, the tensions, the interrelations between things that we see in Sean Scully's art, we experience every day, whether it's the paving stones outside us, the zebra crossing, the architecture of the towns, the cities around us, whether it's that beautiful crumbling brick wall by your house. There's something about lines, blocks, building up into these images that can bring emotions to us, that can make us feel things, that can make us remember things in a way that we can't really understand or put into words. I think that's what Sean Scully's art does. You can see how that idea that his art is about relationships plays out in every one of these images. There's a wonderful sort of dual tension to them, with this beautiful black space here and the grey beneath it. And then these two contrasting images, which are different in each one of these prints throughout the suite. This is the title picture from the suite. You can see it's got the name of the title down here and Scully's signature, where the other prints have his initial in the bottom right-hand corner. But it's this image that was really made after a painting that Scully had made, I think either in the same year or a year before, also named Liliane, and that's really where the genesis for this suite began. It's a beautiful bit of printmaking. In fact, we had Ian Wilkinson, our master printmaker at the Goldmark atelier just down the road. He was here last week and looking through these beautiful prints, and he was talking with Mike Goldmark, the boss, about just how beautifully made they are, just how precisely the colours in the aquatint, these beautiful sort of textures that you can get in aquatint on the etching plate, the delineations of the colours, the impress of the plate, they've been beautifully printed. There's real sort of craftsmanship to the way they've been put together. That's actually something that Sean Scully has in his own history. Before he ever became an artist, he worked a number of down and out jobs, but one particular important job that he took on as a young man was working within a print shop, setting type. And it was that first experience of putting letters into orders, gridding up things for printing, and the graphic design that then led on from that, working in a graphic design studio, that first really showed him how an abstract art, an art that brings components together and arranges them in a way that's totally non-figurative, could be compelling and important, that could challenge, that could spur and inspire emotions in a completely different way than any figurative painting that he had admired as a young child could. Now, in his 70s, I believe, Scully is really at the height of his career. He's having sold out exhibitions every year. He's a hot name within the art world, and he has a particular outlook, a wonderful kind of simultaneously down-to-earth and philosophical viewpoint on art, on the world, and on traversing the very difficult and mysterious experiences that he's had in his life and bringing them into his abstract art. I think this is a really beautiful suite of prints. And it's really within the medium of print, which he has a particular fondness for, from that background in working in a print shop, from working on print series throughout his career. It's really only in print that the likes of us can experience his art at home. This is a wonderful opportunity to have the works of a major abstract artist, an artist whose paintings hang in the homes of people like Barack Obama or the Metropolitan Museum. It's fantastic to be able to show them here in the gallery and to get a real feel for the kind of the beautiful quality of the printing. There's this wonderful luminescence that's coming out of the colours here in these prints. They've been a joy for us to look at and to experience, and I think they look beautiful framed up in these wonderful metal frames. Very clear, clean, letting the abstract art seep into you and provoke feelings in the way that only abstract art of this kind really can. I hope you've enjoyed seeing them today as much as we have putting them up here on the walls and getting to look at them every day as we come to work.